How hard is it to find a job right now as a teacher?
I think it depends very much on what your certificate, where you're certified. In other words, I think if you're coming out of college today and you're certified in science and maybe in particular physics or mathematics, I think you have a better shot at getting a teaching position today than if you're certified in some other areas. For instance, if you're coming out of college and you're certified as an elementary school teacher, if you're certified in social studies or English, it's going to be far more challenging for you to get a job right now than being certified in some other areas.
Mm-hmm. Really depends on the subject. Say for elementary teachers, it's very difficult to find a job, especially with the economy in New Jersey. A lot of districts are reducing staff, increasing class size. But if you're a science and math teacher, they're difficult to find. So especially on the high school level with the certifications, it's tough to find one, and it's tough to find a good one. So again, it depends on the subject area.
Mm. Do you think the demand for teachers will increase over the next 5 years?
No, I think more likely the demand for teachers is going to decrease somewhat over the next 5 years. In Hopewell Valley in particular, we have a shrinking enrollment. Our number of students are going down, and when the number of students goes down, likewise the number of teaching positions goes down with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, because we're seeing a lot of potential retirements, and this district has seen a lot of retirements from folks who came in the mid to late 70s, now have their years and are retiring, and we are seeing that pattern continue, and we expect in the next 5 years that it'll continue to have more of an opportunity for teachers.
So do you think in our district next year there'll be more openings?
We don't anticipate a lot of retirements, only a couple, but in the next 5 to 10 years we know a lot of teachers will be of retirement age, so we're prepared for that and are looking at where that will fit in.
I think so, because I think the older generation is going to start to retire, and I think that the generation coming up is going to have more opportunities.
Does having an advanced degree help your chances of getting a job?
I think it can. If you have a degree, if you have a master's degree or a doctorate, I think it can help you in positions. I think if you're certified in more than one area, so in other words, if you're an elementary school teacher who's certified in special education, or if you're a mathematics teacher and you also have a science degree or certification in science, I think it improves your chances of getting a position.
Yes, but again, it depends on what the advanced degree is in. So, for example, if you're in mathematics and you have an advanced degree in statistics or something like that, that adds something else to your resume, but also for your ability to compete against somebody else. When you're just competing against somebody with a bachelor's in math, and you have a bachelor's in math and a degree in a master's in statistics, for example, that really presents a better package for us.
Mm-hmm. And what can prospective teachers do to increase their chances of getting a job?
I think it's important that when you come out of college today that you have more to offer besides just your teaching degree. So in other words, if you're a world language teacher and you've studied abroad, if you're a teacher and you are qualified to coach or oversee a student activity in school, I think all of those enhance your chances of getting a position. So if you can add something to the teaching environment besides the classroom, I think it can work to your advantage.
I think be familiar with the district that they're applying in. That is very helpful. It is getting experience and diverse experience. We look for teachers. I've had some teachers come here who've had student teaching experience in Trenton and have had student teaching experience in Princeton, and that gives them a nice balance when they come here. Teachers tend to stay where they're hired, so folks in Hopewell only know Hopewell, but if you've experienced life in another district and seen, although we might see some things as bad in Hopewell when you compare us to surrounding districts, we do a lot of things very well, and we have a lot more opportunities for kids and for staff. So that's nice. So that's, we try to look for a package too.
How hard was it for you to find a job as a teacher?
It took me about 3 years to find a job, and I would say at the time that I graduated, it was pretty difficult because, you know, they look for experience, and when you graduate, you don't have experience necessarily right away. So it is pretty difficult.
What problems have you faced and how did you deal with them? Like with budget cuts, for example.
I guess the biggest problem that we face with cuts in our budget is maintaining our current staff, which is always one of your primary goals, to maintain staff and to keep class size at a reasonable level. So I think that's the biggest issue we face.
Well, trying to find a job, you have to apply to a whole bunch of different places, and you're lucky if you get like an interview. And so those are problems in itself. It's long hours interviewing, it's long hours applying for jobs, so I think that's a problem in itself.
What other occupations are there for teaching majors right now?
I'm not sure, because I've never really looked into other occupations except for teaching at a school, but I guess you could teach specifically at maybe like an early childhood center. Instead, you could do some tutoring at the tutoring center, things like that.